Hi, wonderful people. It's so good to see you. I'm Mark. This is Not Defining, the place where we talk all about different identities, genders, sexualities, and so much more so that you can understand yourself and find the best version of you, however you define now. Today, I'm giving some massive love to our trans community. You know what is crazy? People don't know about the connection that we share between the bi and the trans community. There's a really special bond, and I want to talk all about it today because it is so fabulous, right? First of all, okay, we are all LGBTQ plus people. We need to just say that at the very beginning as a broad statement, right? There is no LGB without the T. There is no QIA plus without the T. The T is there. It always has been. It always will. There are a lot of people at the moment who are trying to pick on the trans community. Well, that's just not going to cut it, okay? But most specifically about bi and trans people, here's the thing. The statistics show that the most common sexuality for a trans person to have is, ding, bi. Now, a lot of people don't know that. Some people think that if you are trans, then you're automatically kind of gay, but then when you transition, you become straight, or they think something like that. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. Trans people have a lot of diverse different orientations. But it makes sense if you think about it, because if you have transitioned in some way between gender identities, yeah, or you have a broad kind of definition of your gender, or you understand the diversity of the gender spectrum, then it's pretty hard to just be attracted to one sex or gender or the other, right? Bisexuality is a spectrum, so it allows for that diversity, yeah, and it allows for love and connection to be shown regardless of gender, beyond gender, within and without gender. Okay? And all of the other multisexual identities are the same. So for a lot of trans people, they are bi, because the two, they just go together, right? By the way, if you are on the gender diverse spectrum or the sexuality diverse spectrum and you're figuring it out, then please come and speak to us, click subscribe, come and comment. I will get right back to you. If you'd like some tailored support, then come and join our Patreon community, or you can book a one-on-one coaching session with me. I would love to see you. Speaking of those two spectrums, that's another thing that we share. So homosexual and heterosexual are mono identities, right? They're one or the other, this or that, black and white, right? Fine. We love our monosexual friends. But being trans or being gender diverse, it's a spectrum, right? The gender diverse spectrum, okay? And being bi or bi plus is also a spectrum as well. So it's really varied, okay? And the other thing is that you can have fluidity, okay? So a lot of gender diverse people, a lot of trans people will also be fluid. Yeah, gender fluid is a common identity. Sexually fluid is also a common identity. So it's kind of the mirror of that. If gender is what you are, then sexuality is what you're attracted to based on what you are. So sexually fluid and gender fluid go kind of hand in hand, because the gender that you're attracted to might be fluid, and therefore the way you see your own gender might be fluid. Anyway, so those two spectrums that bisexuality and trans identities fall on are kind of inextricably linked once again. On a less nice note, we also have a really deep connection, I always find, because bi and trans people are often marginalized, both in the kind of cis straight world, but also in the LGBTQ plus community. The L and the G are often dominant and get the most recognition, whereas the B and the T often get ignored or forgotten or kind of pushed to the side. So there's a lot of kind of discrimination in the so-called gay community against trans and bi people. When we go into like a gay venue or something, it's like, oh, you know, sometimes we don't feel welcome, sometimes we get questioned or probed or challenged, and it's just, we both kind of relate on that, because we both are those kind of sub-identities that don't really get a look in all of the time. Also, the B and the T are much less likely to be out than the L and the G. We are much more likely to suffer mental health issues as a result, and we are much more likely than the L and the G to experience assault, verbal harassment, and other negative impacts of LGBT phobia. So the B and the T really connect in their suffering, and you know, although it's a beautiful connection, it often comes from pain. On a nicer note, a lovely thing is that I often find that bi and trans people, we often get together. We often get it on. That's right. I will give you an example. So I am a non-binary, bi, kind of mask presenting guy. And I find that I have such amazing connections with trans people, often romantic connections as well, because if you think about it, let's take a trans woman, for example. You know, who are you going to date if you're into guys? You might not want to date a straight guy because you might not feel comfortable. Yeah, and probably not going to date a gay guy because is likely to, you know, be interested. So a bi guy is really a great option. And also for me as a bi person, I'm often just really attracted to trans people, not only because I find that just the depth of awareness and depth of understanding and richness of character is stunning in so many cases, but also because oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, you know, trans people are so physically attractive because they have different kinds of looks and different kinds of elements to their physical and emotional presence that for someone who loves gender diversity, for someone who just lives for that kind of spectrum of beauty and humanity, like for somebody who, wow, I just find myself like very often drawn to trans people, and I think you're just all gorgeous, basically. So, you know, I'm single, call me. But anyway, that's just a nice thing. I find that we get each other a lot of time, and sometimes, yeah, we fancy each other. So that's nice too. Another nice thing that not a lot of people know is that bi and trans people were standing together when Pride was first created. Bi and trans activists have always been central to our community's struggle. So the person who was kind of very central in the Stonewall riots, Marsha P. Johnson, a trans woman. And the other thing is that the person who organized the first Pride March was Brenda Howard, who was a cis bi woman. So if you like, the two most well-known, most prominent kind of godmothers of Pride, of our struggle, of our liberation, were bi trans women. And I love that, because today we are still at the forefront. We love our community and we stand together. And the final thing, which is just a nice little thing, is that our flags are both fabulous, right? I think that two of the nicest flags in the Pride collection are the bi and the trans flags. I love the colors, and they're also kind of connected, which goes to show what I was talking about before in terms of like, they're kind of mirrors of sexuality and gender, and they link inextricably. So you see the pink, the purple and the blue. The pink is kind of feminine, the blue is kind of masculine, and the purple is kind of in between. On the trans flag as well, you will see as well, you have the pink and the blue, okay, for feminine, masculine, and then you have the white as well, which, you know, instead of the purple, but it kind of represents almost like neutral or middle or neither, or, you know, that thing. So the flags, they both look great, and they both have a really connected message and symbolism in them. So to all of my trans community, to all of my bi plus community, to my gender diverse community, my sexually diverse community, I love you so much. We all stand together. We are all here for each other. If you would like some support, come and write in the comments and I will get straight back to you. If you think this would help someone, then please share the video. Our trans community particularly needs all the support that they can get at this moment in time. So thanks for listening. If you'd like to know more about trans issues and trans rights, then click this video here. And if you want to know more about bisexuality, then check this one out here. I will speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.